Hello everyone, this is Helen H. and welcome to my channel, Moss Cottage. I hope you all are doing well. I have a super fun project today. I am probably going to be making a ton of these. I found a way to make a really fun little journal out of magazines, and it comes from, the inspiration video came from Cathy, from Cathy's Garden, and I will link the video where she makes it. So I don't have to show you step by step. I'll go over real quick how you do it, but watch her video. It's only 5 minutes long and it's super easy to make these journals like this. And then she has a whole playlist of what she does with her journal. So this is my journal right here, and it's been covered with some of my jelly print papers, and it's not one piece. This is one piece, but see, right here's a seam for another piece here, and then on the inside back cover it looks like that, and the inside, whoops, the inside front cover looks like this. So basically what you do, you just take a magazine, and then you keep the cover, and you're going to keep the first page. And then the second and third page, you're going to rip them out. Then you're going to keep the next page, and each page you keep, you fold it in half. It's super easy. Just look at Cathy's description below. And y'all, if you don't subscribe to her channel, she's really, really good. She's got tons of fun projects. Anyway, so what she does with hers, I haven't gotten that far with mine other than making it and covering it, but she wanted to use up some of her scraps, so she went ahead and collaged all of her pages, and then she went back and like gessoed over them or just decorated them. So I'm really at the stage now where I'm just going to be collaging the pages, because this is a great way to use up collage scraps, and it gives you a really fun background to work on. So I thought maybe I would just do some collaging with you and some chit chat while we're doing that. And oh, guys, this feels so good. You don't know. And look, that's how thick it is right there. And that was, the magazine with, the pages torn out. So I have my big old junk box here, junk paper box here. So I think I'm just going to get ripping and adhering. I think this is wrapping paper, but it almost feels plasticky. And I've had some Christmas wrapping paper like this before. So I think I'll just go ahead and start there and start using some of this. So today, let's see, what is today? Today is September, what is it? 13th, September 13th, and our weather, oh my goodness, last night we had some thunderstorms, and boy did it bucket down with rain. I mean, just bucket. It woke me up at one point. It was so rainy, but it brought the temperature down, which is nice. So we are having temperatures in the 80s, like low 80, like just 80, like 80 degrees, which is great. And sunny for like the next week, and the nights are getting down into the 50s, which I love, because I love to sleep with my window open. So here's some pine cone, and these are different textures. This paper is kind of thin. This is cardstock here, so it's big pine cones, so we're going to use the pine cones. And I kind of have an idea. I kind of have an idea what I want to do in this book, like how I want to decorate the pages. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we'll see. And I'll bring you along with the ride, or at least I'll show you, what I've done in it. But anyway, so back to the weather. So it's kind of starting to cool down, which, in Virginia, 80 degrees in September is cool, so I love that. But when I went to the cabin, I don't know if I told you all this. I don't think I did. I'm not sure. Anyway, when we went to the cabin last time, one of my mountain neighbors and I went foraging for apples. And when I say went foraging for apples, basically it was not so much foraging as we went to a farmer who is a friend of her husband's, and he has apple trees, and he doesn't pick the apples. And funnily enough, a lot of people up by my cabin, maybe it's just because there's so many apples, I don't know, they don't pick their apples. You can literally see them on the, trees growing on the side of the road, and the apples all on the ground, which is, to me, is tragic. But anyway, I wanted apples, so I said to her before we went up the last time, I said, find some place where we can get some apples. And so this guy who is a friend of her husband's with the farm, he said, oh yeah, we can come pick apples at his place. But he wanted to be there because he wanted to get a couple apples, just enough for his wife to make a pie. And I mean, they had a lot of trees. Just to make one pie from all they had, I'm not really, guys, I'm not thinking about the colors or anything I'm putting down here. I'm just really trying to use up some scraps. Anyway, sorry. So we went to his farm to pick the apples. Well, my friend didn't tell me that the apple trees were in the pastures, which was not a problem, except the cows and bulls were in the pastures when we went to pick the apples. And I am afraid of big dogs. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But I don't like big dogs, and I especially don't like big dogs that jump on you. That just makes me crazy. Anyway, so we go, and then I realize, oh my gosh, we're picking apples in this pasture where these cows and bulls are. And I wasn't all too thrilled by that, but the thought of getting some good apples, and these are what I would consider organic apples, because they don't grow them, they don't take care of the trees, they don't do anything to the trees. The trees just grow apples on their own, right? They don't spray or anything like that. So anyway, we went ahead and went in, and we're picking the apples, and the guy's there, the farmer's there, and then he said, oh, I have this great tool that will help get the high up ones. And basically what it is, it's this telescoping pole that has like this little basket. Like if you think of the ones that you use when you change a light bulb in a very tall ceiling, it's got that baskety thing. Well, it's just kind of like that, but it's got a basket, and then it's got these little like claws on the end of the little basket. So the claws will pull the apple off the tree, and then the apple lands in that little basket, and then you can bring it down, and you got yourself your apple. Well, while he went to go get that tool, we were just shaking the trees, and the apples were falling down. Well, if you're going to go apple picking, and you're going to go foraging kind of like we did, here's a word of advice, which, any idiot would know this, but I'm going to pass this on to you because apparently one idiot didn't know this. When you go foraging for apples and you are shaking the tree, don't look up. Don't look up. If I didn't have my sunglasses on when I was doing this, I would have had a black eye. Because, yep, a big old apple came right down into my eyeball. And it's like, Helen, why would you even think to shake the tree full of apples and look up, I mean, normal people would know that, right? Well, I didn't know that. Anyway, so he goes to go get this tool, and it's like taking him forever and a day, because this pasture where these trees were across from his house. So he had to go like all the way down a couple of their pastures, and then go across the street, then he had to go find the tool, whatever. So he was gone for a little while. Well, my friend and I were just kept shaking the trees, and getting the apples and whatever. Well, I had plastic, like big plastic tote bags, and that's what we were filling, and we had to put them down so we could shake the tree, right? Well, every time I turned around, the group of cows, they had all like herded themselves into a little group there. Every time I turned around, they were a little bit closer and a little bit closer till they were literally about 6 feet away from us. And I'm like, shoo, shoo, go away. Now this is, remember, someone who's afraid of a big dog, you know, and here I am facing cows, very large black Angus cows. And so, yeah. So he finally came back and he shooed them off into the next. His fields are like open, and you know, you can open a gate, you can close a gate or whatever. So he just shooed them into the next field over. And I don't know where they went. They disappeared. I couldn't even see them anymore. They went up over a hill or something. Anyway, that was my apple picking story. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I got 2 huge tote bags full of delicious organic apples. And so today I had to start processing them. Now, before we went to the cabin, another friend of mine was gracious enough to give me a whole tub of pears. And right before like the day before we went to the cabin, she gave me this tub of pears. And they were not ripe. So I was like, oh, well, no, I think it may be like 2 or 3 days before we went to cabin. She gave them to me. And they weren't ripe. You know, they were still a little bit hard. So I put them in a bin downstairs in our storeroom, which is really nice and cool. And I put that way on ridiculously. I thought that they would hold till we got back. Well, I checked them right before we left to go to the cabin, and they were already starting to turn. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I had to put those in the fridge. And I said to my husband, I'll have to deal with them as soon as we get back because, you know, they're in the fridge. So what do? I go get 2 big tubs of apples when I haven't even dealt with my pears that I had. So see, some of these pieces I'm putting in here, I'm putting in straight, and then some I'm tearing the edges. I'll probably put something that's torn there anyway, so it really doesn't matter if this one is torn. So anyway, when I got back, I had to cut up all those pears and dehydrate them, and oh my gosh, they are fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I gave some to my next door neighbor, and she's just still raging about them. But that was last week. So this week it's like I got to get on those apples, and I noticed that they were starting to turn too. So it's like, ugh. So this morning I had to start on that. So I have my dehydrator on right now with, I think it's got 6 baskets of dried apple slices drying. But then I have 2 big stock pots that I filled with the apples and cinnamon and a little bit of sugar to make, this is a piece of an old greeting card, and I think I'll put that on there too. Let me just, this edge is a little wonky. It needs to be straight because I'm going to put it on this side. Anyway, so I put cinnamon and a little bit of sugar and cook them down so that I can freeze that and make, I'll have them frozen so I can have apples for apple crisp and apple, apples on pancakes or whatever, cinnamon apples on ready for apple crisp or crumble or whatever. So I have 2 big saucepans of that cooling right now, plus my dehydrator's going with the apples. And that's only half of the apples that I got. I still have at least that many, if not a little bit more, because I think the tote I used was smaller than the other tote I still have. But anyway, so my house smells so good. And the other thing is, both my husband and I love pine candles. And my husband is still working at home. He's been working at home since COVID, you know, so it's over 2 years now that he's been working at home. Well, his company has been really good about, they've always been really, I mean, their benefits are just fantastic. But anyway, he gets goodies sent to him and stuff from work. Well, they sent them candles last fall. Oh, this is cute. This is a oh, this is really cute. Look at this little angel here. This is the side, a piece from a calendar, a Victorian calendar that I had. So I think, though, because this is just going to be a background, I think I'm just going to not use him. He's going to probably be used as a focal point, but I'll use this part down here. Anyway, so they sent him last fall beautiful pine candles and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was just one of this. I mean, they get stuff all the time. But anyway, this one box they had this beautiful pine candle. Well, my husband fell in love with that. And so he's been wanting to burn pine candles since then. So he's downstairs burning his pine candle. And I'm up here with making the cinnamon apples and stuff. And it smells like Christmas here, guys. It smells like Christmas. And my husband said, oh, well, you should burn your cinnamon candle. Well, he's talking about this one. This isn't cinnamon. This is, what is this? Candied caramel pecan. But it's a fall scented candle. You know, that's what he meant. I said, honey, I don't need to burn a cinnamon candle. I said, you probably can't smell it over your pine candle, but upstairs, you know, I'm making all this stuff and all this apple stuff, and it smells like cinnamon anyway. I'm just digging through my box next to me here to find something else that I might want to put here. Like I said, I'm not really thinking about anything about this. Here's this fun little piece here. I mean, look, this is so totally random, right? But like I said, I probably will be, like Cathy did, maybe gesso a little bit over it or paint a little bit over it or whatever to when I get ready to start to work in it and decorate the pages. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead. I might prep all the pages and then start working in it. Because that way, if I want to keep working, I won't have to wait, you know, and stop and prepare the pages. So, okay, so I just did 2 pages like this. Okay, and you saw these other pages. That's the inside cover. That's one page there. Then here's this page here. So literally all I'm doing is collaging on some little scrap paper, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of these pages here, which you saw this didn't really take any time at all. And I'm talking to you in all of this, but you know, when you work on this at home and you're not talking or, you know, thinking or whatever, you can really bang it out. Plus, you know, you can get rid of all these strip things that you have and start working on that bin. This is only one of my scrap bins here, but, you know, just get working on it. So I hope you like this journal. It is so, like I said, it feels so good. And I'm thinking, y'all tell me in the comments, what kind of closure would be fun on here? The only thing I could think is maybe to put a grommet in here and put some cord in here to wrap around this way. But if you could think of some other kind of closure, and remember, it's going to get full. It's going to get a little bit chunky. So, you know, it might actually end up being more like that. So maybe I'll have to do something that's adjustable because I just don't know how full it's going to be when it ends. But guys, if you want to make a super fun, basically free journal and you've got lots of magazines, you know, and the other part is I may not even cover up some of these pages. I mean, look at this lampshade. Isn't that fun? And look at this little picture. Maybe I'll just collage around it and keep some of the magazine. You know, I don't know. I just think that this is such a fun magazine, but it just feels so good to hold, especially with my jelly printed paper on it. And this is a good way to use up some of your jelly print paper too. So I hope you like this. Don't forget to check out Cathy's Garden, the videos below, and you know, look at her channel. You will want to subscribe to her channel. I ask that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You'll be able to see me work in this journal and do all kinds of other crafts. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And until the next video, I hope you're all truly blessed. Bye-bye.